3 years ago, I was walking back from my bedroom after taking yet another client emergency call during family dinner. You know, that dinner, that one time that you protect a day so that you can be with your family. And yet there I was again, walking away with my phone in my hand, answering an emergency call. And as I was walking back from my bedroom, I heard my daughter, who was 10 years old at the time, look at my husband and say, "Why is mom always working?" And that sentence gutted me. Because she was right. I was always working. Evenings, weekends, during dinner, while they played in the other room, I was making good money in my business, building a successful business, what I only had dreamed of at the beginning. But I was sacrificing the most important things. And in that moment, I had to draw a line in the sand. And today I'm going to show you how I went from always working to closing my laptop every single day between 2:30 and 4 p.m. while I run a multiple six-figure business and raise 5 tiny humans. Not all of them are tiny anymore. This isn't about better time management. This is about redesigning your entire business around your life. Look, I know what you're thinking. Lauren, that sounds nice, but my business, it can't run without me. And I thought the exact same thing. I thought if I wasn't available 24/7 that clients would leave. I thought if I set boundaries, my business would suffer. I thought I had to choose between business success and being present and intentional for my kids. Man, was I wrong. And today I'm going to show you exactly what I did step by step to build a business that doesn't require you or me to sacrifice family time. Because you didn't build this business to be trapped by it. You built it for the more important things. So let's back up a little bit and I'll paint the scene for you. It was 3 years ago. My family was sitting down to eat mac and cheese and hot dogs probably because that was a go-to meal that was quick and easy and didn't require extra time or attention from me. All 4 of my kids at the time, we have 5 now, but all 4 at the time, my husband, everyone together for that one meal we protect every single day. And my phone rang. It's another client emergency. So I excused myself, picked up my phone from the table that was right next to me, went back to my bedroom, closed the door, took the call. I have no idea in my recollection what emergency it was anymore, because it really wasn't that important. And when I came back out, I was walking towards the table and I heard my daughter in a sweet, innocent, not angry or frustrated tone, my 10-year-old say to her dad, "Why is mom always working?" It wasn't accusatory. It was just simply matter of fact. Like it was just a reality that she had come to accept. Mom's always working. And it absolutely punched me in the gut. It caused me so much stress and pain and guilt and overwhelm in that moment because you know what? She was right. I was always working. Every night I said that I would focus on the kids or read a book to them or do something intentional with them, and I ended up on my computer for way longer than I expected. Every weekend, I made the excuse that my kids were doing something else, and so I would work on a project that needed to get focused on and needed to get done, that I wasn't being interrupted by client calls during the day, during homework time, while they played in the other room, while I was cooking dinner, I was listening to things or working on things. I'd be there physically, but mentally, I just was never fully present for them. And I was making good money, the money I had only dreamed about years before. Building a successful business, my clients were happy, my team was happy, but my daughter thought, "Why is mom always working?" And she thought that was normal. And I realized in that moment that this is simply not worth it. It's not worth it. What is the point of building a business for freedom if I am more trapped than I was in my previous jobs? What's the point of being my own boss if I'm actually constantly plugged in and working all the time and not having any real boundaries? What's the point of financial success if I'm missing the moments that matter? That was my line in the sand moment saying, if I can't get this right, it needs to all burn down. And so I decided right then and there, this has got to change. Not someday, not when I'm more organized, not when I can afford it or make the next revenue marker that I had in my mind. Now, absolutely now, something has to change. Because my daughter shouldn't have to accept that mom is always working as normal. My boys shouldn't have to grow up feeling like they only get half of my attention and intentionality. And so I want to give you the strategies that I took years to formulate through mistakes and bad hires and doing things the wrong way and having to take steps backwards and figure out a new way. There was a shift of what I actually did when I got it right, and this is the framework we have now. And so let me bring you through that framework and show you how I did it in my life with real life examples. But I want you to know that as I dug into this, there was a lot of mistakes I made. There was a lot of missteps I made. There was a lot of things that I spent money on or investments that I regretted, and I had to go back and rewind and rework things. But I want to be as specific as possible to give you advice that's going to be practical and help you apply it to your life today. Not general advice like just set boundaries, because that doesn't help. I use what I now call the road method. But at the time, I was just desperately trying to get my life back. And here's the order that I have discovered is the right order, even though it wasn't the first order I took. So step 1 is remove. First, I had to get honest about what was draining my energy and taking my time without giving me the results I desired. And so I removed implementation work. I am a strategist at heart. My gifts are discernment and strategy and seeing past the noise and the chaos and thinking outside of the box. My gift is not tenacity. It's not getting things done. It's not implementation. And I was stuck doing the implementation for clients because that's what they paid for. So I restructured my offers. I removed the implementation. I got somebody to help me with the implementation, and instead of it all surrounding the heavy implementation services. I changed my business model entirely. But when I look back, it actually wasn't that big of a shift. It was simple adjustments that I made along the way that helped me now get into the right seat where my energy is and my gifts align. If it required me to do the hands-on work, it was gone. I removed the expectation of being available 24/7. I stopped answering emails after 4 p.m. I started putting an out of office and saying we're a 4-day week business, and so I'm not available to answer or take calls on Friday. I stopped taking weekend calls. I stopped jumping on urgent client requests that I got texts about immediately. And you know what happened? Nothing. Clients didn't leave because they adapted, because I set the expectations clearly. I removed calls that weren't worthwhile. I had standing calls on my calendar that were consistent but weren't bringing in revenue. They weren't giving me energy, and they weren't helping me accomplish anything meaningful. So I canceled them, all of them. I removed the busy work, the reports no one read, the updates no one needed, the tasks I was doing out of habit, not necessity. Gone. I removed. And if you get real honest and look into your business, you could find that there is a bunch of things in your business that you can remove, even though it might not feel like it right now. Step 2 was optimize. Once I removed what didn't need to be done, I made what was left faster, easier, simpler, less complex. I created focus blocks in my calendar. Instead of scattered work throughout the day, just knowing that there was this list of things I needed to do, I actually had built in 60, 90-minute focus blocks. And these are sacred. There was no calls, there was no distractions, just deep work. I have about anywhere from 4 to 6 of these depending on my week, and I protect them like I protect school pickup. I organize my calendar around my energy. My creativity peaks in the morning. This is my magic time where I get the most focused and energy and things done ahead of a day of distractions. And my energy begins to wane in the afternoon. So I stop scheduling calls first thing in the morning. That's where I get that deep work done. Afternoons, that's when I do calls where I actually need those connections to give me the energy. I organized my schedule around how I actually work, not some guru's template that doesn't align to my life as a mom and CEO. I organized our systems. We switched from Asana to ClickUp for more robust automations. We got Slack so we weren't communicating via text messages and scattered emails and finding communications or breaking boundaries. We organized our Google Workspace with clear folders and naming conventions and permissions. Everything had a place and everything was documented. Step 3 was automate. Before I hired support, I automated what I could do with technology. Now, let me tell you, this was one of the missteps because I tried to hire support right away and we ended up doing a bunch of manual work that I paid for that wasn't effective or efficient. And so in the past, I've had to go backwards and shift our focus and focus in on those automations because there's a lot of things that technology can take care of that you don't need to pay somebody else to do. Things like ClickUp automations, where tasks move automatically when their status changes. Team members get notified without me having to remember to ping them. Recurring tasks show up without me creating them manually. Things like calendar scheduling automations. If you don't have a scheduler link, you should. It saves you so much time. With email back and forth, clients can book their own calls. Reminders go out automatically. Rescheduling happens without me being involved. Dubsado workflows, that was our CRM at the time. Clients paid invoices automatically. Follow-up emails were sent on schedule. Forms went out without me clicking send. Onboarding workflows meant new clients got everything they needed without me doing it manually every single time. Google Workspace automations, email filters, canned responses, automated filing, all the little things that used to take 2 minutes each and every time were now automated. And last but not least, step 4, delegate. But this only happens after we have removed, optimized, and automated. That is when you start to bring in people. Because now you have organized systems that you can hand off. Now you have documented processes. Now I knew in my business exactly what needed to be delegated that actually would return ROI for me because I had already simplified it. My VA handles email management, filters the emails, responds to common questions, flags what needs my attention, and tells me. Calendar coordination taken care of, scheduling, rescheduling, buffer management, client communication logistics, sending materials, following up, tracking deliverables, all handled by my virtual assistant. My operations specialist, she handles client delivery, making sure projects stay on track, team coordination on our internal systems running smoothly, implementation work, that tenacity stuff that I removed from my own plate, she loves it. My marketing assistant, she handles content prep, gathering materials, creating templates, prepping my focus blocks, social media scheduling, taking videos just like this and editing them and publishing them and turning them into content. They don't just help me, they run these areas of the business so that I can focus on the strategy and being present for my family. And here's the key. Each person on my team has the exact same boundaries I do. We protect Fridays. We don't work weekends unless we choose to. We respect each other's off hours because I'm not building a business that only works if everyone around me burns out. I'm building a business that brings sustainability and fulfillment for not only me and my team, but also my clients. So what does this actually look like right now in my day-to-day? Let me walk you through it. Here's what my morning looks like. Now with school in session, I get up at 5 a.m. and I have deep work for an hour. I brush my teeth, I get dressed, I walk out to my living room while my husband and my kids are still asleep. The house is quiet. I sit at the table behind our couch with my water, and I get straight to work. No coffee, because that comes later. No checking email. That's not deep work. Just pure creation-focused time. Sometimes it's writing YouTube scripts. Sometimes it's social media content. Sometimes it's client strategy work that needs focus. But it's always prepped the night before. Here is the key. You can't just jump into an hour focus block without any preparation. So I have a 15 to 30 minute block every single day where I plan out what I'm gonna do the next day. So when I sit down at 5 a.m., I know exactly what I'm working on, no decisions, no figuring it out, just pure execution and focus. And then at a little bit after 6 a.m. when my kids start coming downstairs to get ready for school, I close my laptop, I hug them, tell them good morning, I help them with breakfast, and I get myself ready for the day. That's when I get my coffee. That's when I put my face on. That's when I get ready and prepped to be able to bring my kids to school, and we head out to school drop-off. My afternoon, between 2:30 and 4 o'clock is when my laptop gets closed. This changes from day to day. Most days I close my laptop at 2:30 and I go pick up my kids from school. Some days my husband has pickup duty and I get to work extra until 4 p.m. And I don't open it again that evening unless I'm doing things like waiting in a dark parking lot at soccer practice or waiting in a parking lot for youth group for my teens, and I have some time. But even then, sometimes I just like to take that time for myself, for some self-reflection and journaling and decompressing and listening to an audiobook. But sometimes it is focused work during those times. And when my kids come home from school or when I pick them up, here's what happens. I give them hugs the second they walk in the door. It used to not be that way. It used to be, oh, just a second. Oh, hey, how was your day? As I'm still focused on other things, or them having to be quiet because I'm still on a client call at that time. I get to now ask them about their day and actively listen. Not just listen with my ears, but listen with my eyes and my body and my presence to their answers. I help them pack their lunches for the next day. We lay out their clothes for the next day. We walk through their chores together. My older kids have dinner duty once a week. Man, is it glorious. Every Monday and Tuesday, dinner's taken care of with a little bit of my assistance if they need it. I read books with my younger kids. We go outside and play and get some fresh air. We talk about school activities. We sign papers, okay? We just exist together. It's not glamorous. A lot of it is mundane. It's normal family life. But here's the deal. I get to be present for it. I'm not frustrated because they're being too loud while I'm trying to work. I used to be. I'm not distracted by emails or Slack messages coming in. I used to be. I'm not mentally still in my business while physically with them. I used to be. But now I'm just there. And that's the whole point. My Fridays, this is my protected time. They're special. I love my Fridays. I usually still get up early in the morning and get some focused work done before anyone's up, just to knock out some prep before the next week and the weekend. But I take my kids to school, or my husband takes my kids to school, and I get a little bit more work in if that's the case. But once my teenagers wake up, because they're home on Fridays, I'm done. Friday mornings I spend with my teenage son, and we watch his favorite shows together or play a game together. We cook lunch and eat together at the table. We just hang out. Friday afternoons before school pickup, I get to spend one-on-one time with my only daughter. Sometimes it's pickleball. Lately, she said she's a little too cold to go out and play pickleball, and so we just have intentional time together. We love to watch Hallmark movies. We're entering into Christmas season, and we get to watch those together as well. Before my littles get home from school, this is the time I protect fiercely. Because my daughter's 13 now, my son is 14, and these years don't last forever. And I refuse to miss them because I'm building a business. I don't want to wait until my business gets to a certain point so that I can afford to take off and be available to them. I want that time now. And then the last key to making this work in my day-to-day is my Sundays. This is our weekly reset. Sunday afternoons and evenings are our family reset time. We have what we call the State of the Union meeting with me, my husband, and my 2 teenagers. We look at the week ahead, the calendar, who needs to do what, who's in charge of what is the meals plan, what is our schedule, what's after school activities or sports activities are happening, who's got pickup and drop off, what things need to be prepped for school or activities. We all get on the same page. And then we set a timer for 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how messy our house is, and we all clean up the house together. We call it reset. Let's reset the downstairs. Everything for the week. My kids pack their lunches, they lay out their clothes, they figure out if they need anything washed, and I do my weekly planning for my business. I look at my calendar for the week. I make sure my focus blocks are aligned with my energy and the things I have on my calendar. One thing that has been so freeing for me is I look and see if I have too many calls one day. If that's the case, I have the freedom and the flexibility to move that around. And so I create breathing room and white space in my calendar. I prepare materials in advance for my focus time so I'm ahead of the game. I make sure that childcare is taken care of. And all of this takes about an hour and a half total. And it's the reason my weeks don't feel chaotic. Here's what I want you to hear, mom, dad, CEO. When I first started setting these boundaries, I was terrified. I thought clients would leave. I thought my business would suffer. I thought people would think I wasn't serious about my work. But none of that happened. And you know what did happen? I started attracting better clients, more ideal clients, CEO parents who want the same life I have, who value margin and presence as much as revenue, who don't have emergencies at 5 p.m. because they've built their lives the same way I have or desire to. My business became more profitable, not less, because I'm only doing the work that's in my genius zone, because I'm not wasting energy on things that don't matter, because I'm focused during the time I'm working. And my family, they got their mom back. My daughter doesn't always ask, why is mom always working anymore? Because I'm not. I'm working strategically, intentionally, within boundaries that protect what matters most. And my business is thriving because of it, not in spite of it. So here's my question for you. What would your life look like if you could close your laptop at 4 p.m. every day? What moments are you missing right now because you're always working? And what would it take to change that? If you're ready to build systems and boundaries that protect your family time without sacrificing your business success, here's where to start. Take our scale and a margin diagnostic assessment. There's going to be a link in the video description here. It's free. It takes about 5-10 minutes, and it'll show you exactly where you are in the process of building a business that doesn't require you to be always working. Whether you need systems first, strategic support, or you're ready to bring in help right now, this assessment will tell you your exact next step. Because 3 years ago, my daughter said, why is mom always working? But today, she doesn't have to ask that question anymore. And your kids shouldn't have to either. I'm Lauren Apple, scaling strategist for CEO parents, and I help you scale your business and your margin so you can be present for the moments that matter most. Thanks for watching. Now go take the scale and margin assessment and figure out your next step. If you resonated with this, please subscribe to the channel below, as I'm dropping at least one new video every week on scaling strategies for CEO parents. Let's build businesses that serve our lives and not compete with them.